Greetings once again, my friends, and welcome back to Drak Vlogs, but this time for E3 2017. And so, for people who have not been able to follow all the updates on the channel, first of all, I don't know what the heck you're doing, but since E3 2017 is on the roll, we have conferences that are going to be going on from Saturday all the way up until Tuesday. I'm going to be doing individual vlogs grading each conference as I watch them and give you guys my opinions as we go along. So, what better way to start than with the with the bottom of the food chain? So the first conference that's actually set up is Electronic Arts, our beloved Electronic Arts. We love Electronic Arts so much on this channel, don't we? And so we're going to start things off with the EA press conference, and I'm just going to warn people in advance, I have been taking notes. So, because I wanted to make sure that I covered everything in the order that it actually happened. So let's go ahead and get things started. Starting with the fact that they came out with a drum line, which I don't hate that idea. But there's going to be one thing that you guys are going to have to hear about quite a bit. Because if you don't know Electronic Arts, as well as most, they do all the sports games. And even better with this conference, we'll get to that in a second, I actually had to go and double check this with my buddy David Vito over in the Red in the Ropes podcast. But basically, I'm going to sum up all of the sports announcements as in this one simple sentence. Campaign mode. That's really all they had to announce on every single one of those, which is funny because, again, I clarified with David Vito, the career mode has been a thing that has been in these games for quite a while now. So it's not like it's a big announcement, aside from that it's a whole cinematic experience. You follow one guy, and you follow him through the heights of his career. You can make choices about his career, and all that fun stuff. So there you go. I just summed all of them up. We'll cover them as we go along, but I summed up all of the sports game announcements for you. You're welcome. So yeah, we started things off with the drum line, which actually got into the Madden NFL, what was it called? Long Shot, which is the glorified campaign mode for Madden. Basically, the way to look at it is, if people saw the EA conference last year when they started the whole Alex Hunter thing from FIFA, yes, I still remember that name, mainly because the conference made me remember it. When they did that, that's what they were going for with these. So, Madden NFL Long Shot, and then I had to put this in here because it pissed me off so much. The head of the conference, I'm not remembering, or the head guy who was announcing all this stuff, I can't remember his name, but because it wasn't Peter Moore this time, because I think Peter Moore is off managing a soccer club or something like that now. He basically tried to address like all of the major experiences that we're going to be having, and he was like, we're going to have 8 major experiences, and we're also going to address some big things like Star Wars Battlefront 2. And he kind of started to address it. He's like, we've been getting lots of feedback. Mostly positive. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure it was mostly positive. I'm pretty sure that a majority of the people... I'm pretty sure a majority of the people were so happy to have paid $120 for something that was non-existent up until maybe like a month or two after the release. Yeah, I'm sure you got mostly good feedback. But then he basically went right into Battlefield 1. So he trolled right off the bat, thinking we were going to get into Battlefront 2 already. No, we went into Battlefield 1 because we have to support DICE some way or another. I'm a little bitter, and you guys will find out why when I get into my final thoughts. So Battlefield 1, there were new night maps that were going to be debuting over the summer. I think it was going to be like once a month. It was only going to be a few maps that were triggered tonight. So I was like, okay, well, I guess that's cool for Battlefield fans. And then also you're going to get a brand spanking new expansion called In the Name of the Tsar, which is basically, since Battlefield 1 is based in World War I, you are now going to be able to fight the wars on the Eastern Front and actually have a bunch of Russian troops, including a lot of historical historical units that were there. I remember the cavalry one, and I think there was one that was involving women, but I can't remember off the top of my head. So you're going to get the In the Name of the Tsar expansion, which will obviously include new maps, new outfits, new everything for you, and it's all going to be Russian themed. So there you go, Battlefield fans. That's what you get. Then we bounced right into FIFA and the fact that Alex Hunter is returning in FIFA 18, and so he's basically had this good career from your FIFA 17, and now you get to continue him further on FIFA 18. So whoopee! Then we moved into Need for Speed Payback, and I will admit, occasionally. A lot of people think I just hate sports games overall, but occasionally I actually do like the Need for Speed games. The last one that I played was Need for Speed Carbon, I think, because Most Wanted was when they moved over to... No, Most Wanted happened first and then Carbon, and then at that point I didn't have a PS3 at that time, and I wasn't even willing to try out like a Need for Speed game on Wii, because that was the only console I had that was next gen at the time. But I do like Need for Speed occasionally. And I will admit that Payback, even though it looks like it's Fast and the Furious, the movie, in a game, it still looked pretty dang good. Although I will also say that I'm pretty sure other YouTubers are going to say this too, but the trailer looked it looked too clean. It looked too fake to be an actual gameplay trailer. To me, it ran on the rails a little too much. And on top of that, it looked like things were happening way too smoothly for it to be an actual gameplay trailer. So I'm still very hesitant about what I saw, but what I saw I did enjoy. I actually thought it looked like it's going to be a good experience, maybe something that I would demo and debate whether or not I actually want to own, because I think the last Need for Speed game I owned was Underground 2, and I didn't own it for very long. So, I don't know. I am interested in Need for Speed Payback, but not to the point of, like, I have to go out and pre-order it, if that makes sense to people. Then we also went back into EA Originals, which, if people remember, it was the indie game program that they announced last year, and we actually got a couple of really good indie projects that were in the works from that. This year, we got basically they announced that they have a bunch of new developers that they're working with, and people can look forward to it. But the biggest announcement they had from EA Originals was a game called A Way Out, which is from the guy who made Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons. And this one was interesting because it is a completely co-op experience. So you can't solo this thing. It catalogs two people who meet in prison and eventually escape and I guess go to meet with one of their daughters. Something like that. That's kind of what the trailer showed, but all of it is a co-op experience. And while you can't hook up with people online, they encourage you to hook up on the couch. So I'll admit, like, the story development that we actually saw in it looked really, really, really good. Like, you got to see where one person is getting inducted into prison, the other one is watching from above. When they're both in the laundry room working, one of them is trying to find a way out and the other one is trying to sabotage the laundry room. That was pretty cool because it's like split screen multiplayer, but it looks good enough that like it's an experience for each person as you go along. There was even a cool moment where you had to go, I guess, climb up a wall. And so you had to like lock together and actually go up like this. That was pretty freaking cool, actually. And I like it, but the only downside is like if I'm gonna review this thing, then I'm probably gonna. I think I'm already talking to Andrea about this to see if she'll help me review A Way Out when it comes out. And I'm trying to think, do we have a release date for it? Oh yeah, just early 2018. So we don't have anything solid yet. And then also the EA Originals portion was also to announce the Seed team, which was where I put a note of like, hey everybody, we're all techie. Because it was like, it was 80% of, we're not only looking at indie developers, we're also looking at new forms of technology for us to be able to bring gaming experiences to you. And I'm just sitting there in my chair just going, what you're basically saying is you're starting up a VR branch. Okay, start up a freaking VR branch. But here's hoping that it's not as bad as some of the other VR games that have come out since, aka Star Wars Battlefront in an X-Wing. Then we got a new... and this is one that pissed me off. So, since BioWare is under the EA banner, and Andromeda didn't do very well, They had a new IP to announce from BioWare called Anthem. Which sounds cool, right? Except they had a trailer that was maybe a minute long. And at the very end it says, go to the Microsoft conference for more. Are you kidding me, EA? If you have something to announce, then announce it. BioWare's under your banner. Why do I have to go to the Xbox conference the next day for something that you could have announced? Because that's not an announcement. What that was they were showcasing basically something that looked very Mass Effect. Like, it looked like it was on an alien world, and then all of a sudden you go into one of the suits that you could get in Mass Effect, and that's where it ends, and then go see the Microsoft conference? Seriously? That's not an announcement, EA. That's trip to Skywalker Ranch territory. That's bullshit. Pardon my French, but this is going to be not safe for work when I get mad at these conferences. This is absolutely lazy on EA's part. They should not have done anything with Anthem. They should have left that to Xbox to announce for themselves. I don't know why on earth they made that decision, but it's so like you had the trolley stuff with Battlefront 2 earlier on, and now you have the trolley stuff with Anthem. Well, thanks, EA. We really appreciate you. Let me show you how much. Then we went into NBA Live 2018, which was, oh joy, new engine, but also a campaign mode. Seriously, I went through a minute and then I had to endure about 10 minutes worth of the NBA Live. Thanks, EA. Really appreciate it. And then finally, the moment that everybody was waiting for, which was Star Wars Battlefront 2. So I love the fact that they actually had to bring out the same woman who plays the character in the story mode, but they had to put her out in a dress that, I'm sorry, I'm gonna speak my mind, looked fucking ridiculous. It was like, oh, she's Sith Warrior, light! Because it's this snazzy dress, but it's got a belt that looks like Darth Vader's lightsaber, and the shoulder thing from her actual costume. Sorry, but I'm gonna speak my mind. It was absolutely stupid. She could have come out in anything and we would have been fine. Okay? But then you put her in that silly, ridiculous outfit, and it's like, it's so hard. It was so hard to take her seriously throughout the whole thing. But she was basically the announcer for all of the Star Wars Battlefront 2 stuff. Which, if people are hoping was going to be a lot, well, not really. So, yes, there's a campaign mode, but it's only based on her character, so I'm already pissed about that, because I would have liked both an Imperial side and a Rebel side, because just as much as I find it cool to be able to go through the Imperial, like, go from Episode 6, from being part of the Empire to the First Order, I also wanted to see the Rebels eventually become the Resistance. So, that's already lazy on EA's part. I love the fact that they had to say, like, well, the only way we were going to do a story mode is if we came up with something that hadn't been done before. Mother effers, seriously, this is Battlefront, okay? I don't know how many times I actually have to state this, but we as Star Wars fans have no problem recreating the original Death Star run. We as Star Wars fans have no problem going through the Battle of Hoth. We as Star Wars fans don't have any problem going through the Battle of Endor. Why can't you just do a minor campaign mode going through those? For crying out loud, you did it for years, and we kept buying your games. I love the fact it has to be a unique and original experience. No, it doesn't. Because each time, it's going to be an original experience, because you're going to get updated graphics. You may actually be able to see a battle from a different perspective. I'm sorry, I don't buy the reasoning there. You could have easily put a rebel dude that we didn't know anything about, give him a little bit of backstory, and there you go. This crap sells itself. So, no, it had to be an original experience. Bullcrap, EA. Just seriously. Then also the introduction of there's going to be 3 times the content of the original Battlefront. Which, I'm just going to be honest here, people. This game is on par, as far as features, with the original PS2 Star Wars Battlefront 2. Okay? Not even kidding. It now has as much features as Star Wars Battlefront 2 does. They reintroduced the class system. Okay. They also introduced maps from all 3 eras. So you got prequels, you got original trilogy, and you got new trilogy. Okay. You also got armies representing those. You also got 3 times the heroes because they had to showcase Darth Maul. You could get Rey, you could get Kylo Ren, you could get Yoda. Again, I'm going to say, this puts this Battlefront on par with a game that came out at least 5-10 years ago. 2015 Battlefront, nowhere near. This puts it on par. I don't know how this is a major announcement because this is basically you doing what we asked you to do, except you had to do it your way. And I would actually even say it's not even completely that because people demanded Galactic Conquest. You guys aren't putting that in there. There was talk about it being online only or something like that. Nope, it's not even in there. So thanks, EA. Appreciate it. And then we had to basically go endure 15 minutes worth of live gameplay. And I know that they brought in a bunch of YouTubers to come and do it, but frankly, all I could think of during this entire gameplay demo is simply, this isn't new. Sure, it's shiny and new with the new trilogy stuff. You have Rey, you have Kylo Ren. Okay, fine. But it's not new. This is stuff that was being done in Star Wars Battlefront 2, and frankly, Battlefront 2 had more assets. I love the fact that that the announcers eventually said, well, we would love to showcase more prequel heroes, but we don't really have, or for the Republic side, we don't really have them. Mother effer, seriously? You didn't program Obi-Wan in? You didn't program, you had Yoda. For crying out loud, we could have seen Yoda. You didn't program Obi-Wan in? You didn't program Anakin in? Those are defaults. What the hell? For crying out loud, the PS2 Battlefront 2 had Ki-Adi-Mundi. It had Ayla Sakura, which didn't get focused on in any of the movies, except to be gunned down. So I'm officially still going to say that Battlefront 2 for PS2 is still above what you were doing. And even better was I love the showcase on the ship combat, but it was slow enough that people were literally hitting each other. Or people were literally ramming themselves into buildings. Jiminy frackin' Christmas, DICE. I'm sure you learned lessons along the way, but this is not enough. The PS2 game is still, in its craptastic graphics now, is still superior to your HD Marvel. Jiminy Christmas, man. How many man hours were put into this game? I'm for all the people who are going to get pissed at me and say, well, you're just, whatever, okay? But the bottom line is that this is not 3 times the content. If anything, to put things up to par, they should have done 5 times the content, 10 times the content. How hard would that have been? Really, how hard would it have been? Prequels was easy. All you had to do was grab Obi-Wan, Anakin, Yoda, Mace Windu. Your characters were already laid before you. You could have grabbed more original trilogy characters. You could have grabbed even more characters from the new trilogy because you have access to that. So I'm still going to say it, and people are not going to be happy about it, but the bottom line is that Battlefront 2 is still very much on par with a game that came out probably, I want to say 2003, 2005, so 10 years. 10 years. It's on par with that game. That's how far Star Wars Battlefront 2 has become. But thankfully, I will say that they did one good thing out of that, which was there is not going to be a season pass. Instead, all of the content that is going to be available will be for free. Oh, thank goodness, EA. Why didn't you do this before? Oh, wait, you wanted to have people paying literally double the amount that they were paying to pre-order their game. Now, sure, there are still the pre-order bonuses, and I still disagree with that. If it's all free, then it should all be available to everybody. Okay, I don't care about the fact, well, my account's unique because I pre-ordered. I don't care. I really don't. Because these are characters that people love. And there should be no reason why they are only allowed to this schmuck because he pre-ordered it, because he paid $10 in advance. Okay, if you were going to do Rey and Kylo Ren, I believe they're the pre-order bonus. Okay, that kind of makes sense. But 2 or 3 months down the road, I want Kylo Ren and Rey available. And I've actually got your perfect fix. You get Kylo Ren and Rey in a Force Awakens skin for the pre-order, and then eventually what comes out 2 or 3 months later is a Kylo Ren and Rey from Last Jedi. I just fixed your problem. So I'm at least happy that it's going to be free content, but at the same time, like, what took you so long, EA? I'm actually kind of surprised that you didn't do the whole season pass thing. And that pretty much wrapped up the EA's conference. Overall, I'm going to be 100% honest here. I've had some time to cool off since then to record this, but when that happened, I was livid. This is probably one of the worst EA conferences I'd ever seen in the last few years that I've been doing this. And now that I've had some time to cool off, it's a meh conference. It really is. I'm going to give these guys a C- overall. They had 3 games that I was remotely interested in out of 8. 8 games that they were showcasing. Because I was interested in A Way Out, I was interested in Need for Speed, and I'll be honest, I am interested in Battlefront 2, but I ain't pre-ordering the shit. I ain't doing that. Because I already, I did that for Battlefront so that I could get you guys a review and all that. No, I'm not doing it this time. So that's going to go ahead and do it for this video. Tune in next time, and the next vlog that we're going to be covering is the Xbox conference, and then we'll get to finally be able to talk about BioWare's new game. Hopefully, Xbox does better than EA did recently. So I will see you guys next time for the next video.